are on Facebook Live, so for those who are just watching right now, we are broadcasting live from the Mexican Consulate of Los Angeles. And for those who don't know and would like to take advantage of the great opportunities that the Mexican Consulate offer to all of you, just check it out. Just right now they have this photo exhibition for caricatures, I think, and then they just have so many. It's not only passports and it's not only official documents, but there's a lot of culture going on. Also a lot of support. They do vaccines here and COVID tests as well. So, but if you ever have a cool project that you would like to screen here, come to the events and meet the consul, meet the team here. So, with that being said, again, I see a lot of people taking pictures. Thank you so much for whoever are taking pictures. Please do tag us, share us on your social media. We're all there. And I'm very excited now, finally to start. We have a lot of filmmakers today. It's as the Cynthia Prida Bravo, our Consul of of Cultural Affairs, she explained. This is an event like hosted and full of professional, amazing filmmaker women, and it's gonna be awesome. So I'm gonna start. We have two Alejandras. Well, one is Alexandra. I'm going to start with Alexandra Parral. She's from Tecate, Mexico, but she grew up and did most of her education in San Diego. And she's incredibly important in the projects when you do any video, audio, video project. She's a sound mixer, and I want to ask you for a big round of applause to Alexandra Parral. And she's very young, so Ale, we're going to be keeping our distance, so you can sit wherever you want. You can remove your mask as well.
Okay.
So sit wherever you want except that one, on that one. And let's continue with the Alejandras. Let's go with Ale Rubiera. She's a cinematographer. And gosh, I'm very excited that she is here because she's almost a New Yorker, and New York is kind of flirting with her, and she wants to steal it from New York, from us. Thank you, Ale. And all the claps and everything she brought, like, I don't know how many people, almost the whole room. Then we have Nadia. You're gonna have to forgive me and excuse me because I have trouble pronouncing your last name. But she was born in New York, but her background is Russian, Spanish, like so many Philippine. This is what I call a diversity filmmaker. Nadia Voukitchevitch. A round of applause, please. She's a producer and a film slasher. Thank you so much, Nadia. And I was just trying to go like in alphabetical order. And then another great filmmaker, she's a director. We closed with her short film, which was hilarious. I heard a lot of laughs, and it was filmed during the pandemic. Please welcome Sofía Garza-Barba. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And then shall start. We begin. So again, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time coming and meeting these wonderful people. I was just telling them that the reason I normally try to invite more than one person and not only one is because I like to give the opportunity to everybody, but this is not a favor that they are doing to me or I'm doing to them. We are empowering each other and we're helping each other by coming and creating this for all of you. So hopefully there will be a lot of projects with the four of you that will come in the future. And that's what Actor Slash is all about, to connect, to create a community, to empower each other and do great projects together. So I just want to know about, and I want to go straight with Sofía, because we finished with that short film, which was hilarious, filmed by the pandemic. We saw a lot of short films, and some of them were like all kind, but this one had a lot of humor, And I remember on Facebook, she's like, oh, I'm looking for actors. I want specific actors in Monterrey. So you wanted to do it with, you are from Monterrey. Why did you pick Monterrey despite you live in Los Angeles, and how did you come up with that idea?
So I'm gonna start off with how I came up with that idea. Obviously, I was going crazy during lockdown, and my daughter is here.
How old is your daughter?
She's almost 8, but I remember like we were locked down and you know, I cut her hair horribly. I'm sorry.
Are you that person?
Yes.
Almost?
So at first I think that, you know, I feel like sometimes as parents we want to protect our children like from the world, but then you end up doing more harm, like you know, protecting like with reality, right? Like, should I tell her what's going on? Should I not? Obviously we did tell her, but I kept hearing some of my friends saying that they were not going to say that there was like a crazy pandemic outside. So what would happen if a child's imagination goes beyond, you know? So that's how I came up with the idea. And then Monterrey, well, I was born and raised in Monterrey, and I had a little bit of money saved, and I thought that why not go to Monterrey, shoot it there with the people that I know, and also you introduced me to
Lucy,
who's
been here,
the actress in the film, which I love that about you. You're always connecting people, and that's great. Yeah.
Thank you. I love it. It's the second time I see it. It's probably the third, because you also premiere it at the, I don't know if it was one, well, it wasn't quite premiere because it's so awarded. It's everywhere. It's been everywhere. Like, how many festivals have you done with that film? It's still running.
Yeah, it's still running, so we're very happy. I mean, people like it. Children, adults, horror fans. I mean, I think it's a movie for everybody. You know, it's not just like mainstream, but also people that love horror and fantasy films, they like it as well. So we're very happy with it, really. I think it's just, you know, a unique take on the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
you know what I love the
like
most?
A roller coaster of films.
She told me, Oye, Vange, my daughter is here. Is there a film that she shouldn't be seeing, like something strong that she shouldn't be seeing, so we can take her out? And I was going to say, there's one very bloody. I should probably don't want to see that one. But, oh, it's based on her. Anyway. So, Alexandra, this is another reason why I invited her. Nobody knows, or how many filmmakers do we have here? Raise your hand. Well, almost everybody. But seriously, like when I did my first 2 short films, I didn't think sound was that important. And I'm a voiceover talent. Oscar is helping us here. He's a voiceover talent too. We do a lot of ADRs because we messed up with sound. Sound is so freaking important. It's just like key. And I just love Alexandra because she's also my Facebook friend, but I never met her in person. Like everybody, I didn't know them in person, but they were my Facebook friends because I'm always accepting and trying to connect with creative people, and I checked them out, and I saw she was very talented. And you were at the Olympics with the only Mexican who went to represent us. So that shows that Donovan, right?
Well,
sort of.
These are, so my first Olympics were Tokyo, and then I went to Beijing. But in Beijing, there was like no Mexicans. So then, I mean, I didn't do sound for him, but I was just like right there, and I say hi to the trainers, and they gave me a Mexican pen.
But you did go to cover the Olympics for sound.
So they sent me for the Olympics because COVID. They are sending less people. So I was talking to other sound mixers, and that was very lucky because they are not sending that many sound mixers anymore. So I think maybe there we were like 3 or 4 we went from NBC. So because there are sending less people, I was doing like camera assistant slash sound. So if we do the specialty beauty shots that NBC might use for billboards or for a special program they want to do, it's not just the Olympics, it's a specialty. So if they do need an interview, they do need certain sound, then I step and record it. But if not, it's for the Olympics, I'm also camera assistant.
A total slasher as well.
Yeah.
All of them, I mean, I just kind of portray them as
Yeah.
sound mixer, director, producer.
And Mexicans there, only I think I saw 2 from Mexico, and Donovan and the trainers, that's it.
For those who
Yeah.
you don't know who Donovan was the only person representing Mexico in
Yeah.
ice skating.
Yeah.
And I think he did pretty good. Didn't win, but he
He
represented very well.
He did pretty good. I was there, so when he stepped into the ice, everybody was clapping for him.
With his mariachi charro.
He didn't do the mariachi.
What?
He did. He danced to Carlos Santana's song, and he did great. But he didn't win, but he did great.
But you see, sound is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not only on filming necessarily. It could be also in news. It could be also everywhere. So, very important.
Mhm.
Ale Rubiera. She's super shy. That's why I introduced her to all these friends. So now she's not so shy. Let's give it a big applause.
I'm more shy.
I know, because she's not, because you guys are like, especially you both, well, all of you are like behind the scenes, so you're like underground kind of
Yeah.
artists and everything, but that was very nice that we just saw, and I believe your crew is here.
Yeah, first of all, thank you to all of my friends, cast and crew that are here. Really thank you for supporting and being with me. Chris, the director. is over
Kristyna,
there.
please get up.
So,
Congratulations. She's the director. Nice to meet you.
yeah. So mostly a huge part of the crew. Also Amber, I think, our actress is here.
Amber, nice to meet you. The mom, right?
Yes.
Then
Oh my God.
Juanita comes from New York. She's a production designer. Pamela Gaffer. I mean, I won't stop if I just mention everyone, but Pam, the Gaffer, Key Grip, a lot of our.
Yeah, the consul was
cast
like,
members.
wow, Wanda, you brought a lot of that big gang right there. I'm like, Ale. Ale, she's like, I'm gonna bring all my friends and everything is perfect. You can always count on. Which, by the way, mostly the people who comes, it's because of them. It's they invite them. This is open and free for everybody. So if you ever will be my panelist, just know that I'm a social media police, and I have a chicotito. No,
Yeah, she
but
does.
normally they are the ones who handle it. Like, but they do help and bring whoever you want. So that's what you're gonna see. Great, thank you for coming all. But Ale, you got my attention. The very close-ups. It was that a direction from the director,
Yeah.
or like so? Because I really could feel the pain of the mom.
Yeah.
I really could feel the daughter. I mean, all the emotions, as they said, right? The eyes are the door to the soul.
Yeah.
Man, I did see even the teeth and everything through the eyes. But so
So-
that was a.
Yeah, that was a choice. So there's a few things that we kind of want to enhance, and especially the location itself. So what we were trying to transmit is how Lola feels inside the house. So it feels like a more trapped. So we were trying to, with this kind of lens that gives you these, weird shapes of the faces. It's kind of like to represent how she is struggling when she inside of her, but also inside the house. So that was a visual support. I believe cinematography is about that, right? So we were trying to enhance that with that lens. And also in some point when she's like smoking weed, like we were trying to also, it's a subtle thing that maybe people won't even realize that much, but we were using filters to enhance that too. So the architecture of the space, when we were scouting, there was a reason why we choose it. So it feels like a cheese trap, right? Like in a jail kind of situation. And of course, the mother situation is also tough because she.
I think they both were trapped.
Both of them were like in somehow trapped in their own things and, you know, understanding each other because she wants to leave to go to university because that's her dream, right? But at
Remember,
the
we're
same-
live, and this is the first time you screen it, so don't give away the story too much.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
This
yeah.
is
But-
this is kind of like
Yeah.
the premiere
Yeah, yeah,
Not
but-
even out there yet.
Yeah, no, yeah, but that's mainly the reason about the visual choices of the lens. Yeah.
The end was
definitely.
perfect about that cage that you're talking about. How she
Yeah, how
was
she
able to. It ended how it started, sort of. So
Yeah.
it's real good. I like that. How long did it take you to
shoot it.
Mhm.
It was 4 days, and of course pre-production, you guys know, is a whole thing, especially because we shoot not during the COVID time, like hard level, but still, we still have a lot of restrictions, and it was 4 solid days of shooting. Yeah.
And this was the thesis of your master's degree in the New York Film Academy.
Yeah, it was mine and Chris, both of us.
Because you both produced
Yeah,
it. and
we
you
both produce. I mean, we of course we have producers, but we both joined. Like we both pay 50% and try to, you know, do everything together.
The executive producer.
Yeah,
You see, they are
exactly.
slashers. They do
Yeah,
more than one
yeah,
thing.
and we ended up. It ended up being both of us. Final project for finish the program. Chris finished filmmaking as a director, and I finished as a cinematographer. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for choosing to Slash to screen it. Thank you, Kristyna.
Bye.
Nadia, she just gave me this, by the way. Isn't that great and beautiful?
She has a great collection of hats.
I love hats, and she knew it. And today I did not bring any hats, so it was perfect. It's just great, great. Nadia is also a producer. I kind of like advertise her as a producer, but she's also a director. She's a creative person. She's a writer, and she's done so many things. And I met her. She was raising some money for the last piece of film that we saw at the end, American Family.
America's Family.
America's Family, which you did a pretty good job because she brought a huge, I think it was In-N-Out burger truck that
Yeah.
Justin appreciated very much. And it was a great party, and that's how I met. But you focus most, would you say, in advertisement or?
Yeah, I
Tell us
mean,
a little bit.
most of my career as a producer has been in advertising. I kind of like fell into it. Actually, one of the directors / DPs here, Carlos Montañez, who,
Carlos, thank you for coming.
We've known each other for many years, but he and I both worked with a director that actually recommended me to be a producer at an advertising agency in Miami, and I was an AD, assistant director at the time, for him on set, and he said, hey, do you want to go and work at an advertising agency? I was like, all right, sure, you know, and he's like, oh, it's just a couple of months, and I go there, and the owner hired me immediately, and then he's like, oh, but it's not just going to be 3 months, it's going to be a year, and then a year became 2 years, but yeah, I mean, I started working in the Spanish-speaking market in the U.S., and that led to me traveling to Brazil, to Mexico, to Argentina, and so I kind of traveled all over. But I originally went to films, like I went to Sarah Lawrence College for film, of course humanities and languages and all that, but you know, directing and documentaries was really where my passion was, and so you know, doing commercials is a great way to pay for student loans.
Right.
And then pay for your master's
Right,
eventually
yeah,
too, which
yeah.
you know, I got mine about in 2018. So you know, going back to school after like 20 years is always hard. But yeah, I mean, I've always supported nonprofit organizations. Like Chirla is one of the big ones that I've always supported. Angelica Salas is executive director. She's her offices are not too far away. And the director, Annika Tours, she went to Boston University, and we've known each other for like 18 years. She initially hired me to produce some PSAs for Chirla. This was back when Bush was still in power and the whole immigration reform was happening, and people were already then getting deported.
Yeah.
And so she ended up doing a short film, and then that won a lot of film festivals, and then they did this feature.
The one that we just
That you just saw the trailer, yeah. And so that one right now, they're submitting it to Tribeca, to La Live, to New York Latino Film Festival. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll get in.
You should screen it here.
And Guadalajara, too.
Just
Guadalajara.
talk to the consul and screen it here.
Yeah, I will. I actually told Anika, she did. They have a very good relationship with
I
Chile.
know, I've seen, in fact, they sponsor sometimes some of the COVID tests, and sometimes they do some of the health programs.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you ladies. So let's talk about the idea, from the idea to landing a project on the screen, regardless if it's the big screen or the short screen or the whatever screen it is, because now we know that it could also be, TV or news. How do you guys envision something like that? Like, for instance, Ale, you were mentioning that you guys split the costs and everything, but let's talk about a little bit of the process before, the pre-production. Alexandra was telling me that, the material that we saw, it's sound mixing, which is fantastic and so important with very high-end people. But she also writes, and she's done short films and things like that. How do you guys fund your own projects? Like, how do you envision everything first, put on paper? How does the process begin? Like, and I want you, Sofía, to also talk about that right now you're cross-funding for your next project. What are the pros and cons? So let's start with you, Alexandra. When you want to create a project, how do you start? How does that come?
Well, the projects I have done were before I was 100% doing sound. So those usually is with a good story or a good idea for a music video. If you have a good story, then everybody wants to help.
But how do you know it's a
Like-
good story when everybody wants to help? If they don't want to help, it's not a good story?
No, I think you know when it's a good story, and then if you present it to, like, for example, one of the short films I did, it's about the border also, and I told the story to a DP in LA, and we weren't friends or anything, but he liked the story so much, he said, I will help you even though you don't have money.
So you created a
Yeah.
community, you surrounded
So
yourself.
He already was here in LA working, I was graduating, this was like 10 years ago or 8.
You were in San Diego.
Yeah, I was in San Diego, and he already had his equipment, his red camera, fancy, doing features and whatever. And then he said, I will help you with the project because I like this story so much. And
gonna have to see it.
then because of him, then everybody wanted to be in the project. And I think that project was a short film, and it was like 8 minutes, and we were students, so we spent like $2,000. But the story,
Everybody chip in, or was your own money?
no, just me and Kristyna, and the producer,
Between 3 people.
2 people.
2 people.
And so it was like $1,000 and $1,000, and then we got some awards because the story was good. And then with that, we did pay crew, but a little bit, but we did pay, and we tried to feed very well and treat them very well. And because of that, then when I want to do another project, everybody wants to help out again.
Because you treat them well and they had a good
Yeah,
experience.
but
with the
every
person.
time it's better because there is more money and then more experience and stuff, and everybody's growing. So then it's easier. And now the problem is to find time. Yeah.
Because now you're famous with the sound.
Yeah, and then now I'm doing sound, and like every day I'm scheduled, and it's very difficult to find one day to like say, oh, let's talk about a short film. It's just so difficult.
I am so lucky she's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because she was like texting me about the event, and I was like, well, yeah, but I'm rolling. I cannot answer right now. And then it's sound, so I cannot
Yeah,
listen or
But I
call.
wasn't calling you, I just leave
Yeah.
text messages, you
Yeah,
check
yeah,
whenever you
I
want.
was shooting
And I
everything.
was like,
Yeah,
I
I
am
don't-
here. Like this week, I was like, Monday was Tony Hawk, and Tuesday was
Yeah, you send me pictures.
Kevin Garnett, the basketball player.
That's cool.
And then yesterday was an artist, and then today actually I went to Santa Anita Park to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an
Yeah.
advice, turn off your cell phone when you're working. I
Yeah.
don't answer
Yeah.
to anyone,
So
only when I can.
So I feel like now that I'm focusing on sound, then it's difficult to be creative and find time for that. But I feel like to answer your question is to have a good story. That's the question. Yeah.
Sophia, you got a great story based on your daughter, but you wanna talk about your crowdfunding, so how do you fund all these? I mean, we know that the
So-
vampire was your money.
Yeah, the vampire film was with my money. I have a background in directing commercials, so that's what feeds me. But
She hires a lot of people.
the last 2 years obviously haven't been great, to be honest. But so I spent most of my money in the vampire short. So this time I wrote a script that I'm really in love with. And I was like, I'm scared to put it out there, but if I don't put it out there, I'm never gonna make it because I don't have the money to make it right now.
Is it a feature or a short?
It's a short film, it's like a proof of concept. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try crowdfunding. I don't care, I'm just gonna try it. If it doesn't work, okay.
But I think you already reached your goal.
And we reached our goal in like 7 days, like $15,000. Blumhouse gave us $2,000. Like
Wow,
it's like
Blumhouse.
yeah, we were like it was just so surreal. Like people just started, trusting us. And I think that yes, you have to have a good story, but also I think that for people to believe in you and in the story, you have to believe in yourself first. Like it's kind of like selling the story to everybody so they can trust you and see your previous work, and be like, imagine if I did this with this amount of money, which is nothing, what can we do with this?
With this.
And also, try to get a team together that relates to the stories.
Now, crowdfunding is a full-time job for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even 1 month when you are not reaching out your goals. Are you doing it all by yourself? Do you
Yeah.
have I saw that you're also getting the help from Sparks and
Yeah, we're doing crowdfunding via Seed and Spark.
Sparks.
But
But
yeah,
for the most part, it's you.
It's me like making posts and doing like collages for the people that like give me money, like.
And you also have to,
invest.
whoever gives you money, you give them prizes, or you give them
Yes,
some sort of
incentives.
compensation.
Helping, and it's true, they're helping. Without them, like, you might not do the film, right? So
Is this your first crowdfunding that you do?
Yeah, it's my first one, so I'm really excited. I don't think I'm gonna do it again because like I think with one project is fine, but I'm very surprised and very grateful, and yeah, I mean.
But people, you can still donate to pay
Yes.
actors and to pay other
Yes.
things, right? Like festivals and.
Yeah.
This is just to shoot it.
Yeah, this is just to shoot it, but I'm still gonna put some money myself, so, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta feed everybody deliciously. Nadia, and you are a pro in this aspect. You are a pro.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you do commercials, you tend to be a little spoiled, although of course things have evolved over the years, like the really nice abundant budgets that we used to have, kind of like have, been slashed. But when it comes to independent cinema, which is where my heart is and my passion is, I find that it varies project to project. I definitely agree, with what Alexandra is saying, that, the story, and just like Sofía, like the story is very important, the material is very important. One of my mentors, James Shamus, who was the head of Focus Features for many years, told me that it's so important to have good material, you know. So, you know, for example, with Chirla, knowing Anike and that she wrote it herself and she's also starring in it, like you know, as an actor, I think it's important to write roles for women, and if you're women yourself, and especially women of color, you should put yourself in your film. Why not, you know? And so, you know, she also directed it as well, but in addition to that, she's a grant writer. So for that particular film, it took 4 years to make, by the way. And years before that of her trying to develop it and sell it and all that. But in that case, we did use, it was a mix of like crowdfunding, a lot were donations, just like we had that fundraiser at Dono Studios. You know, every little bit helped. But also she would put, you know, she would write grants all day long, all night long, and you know, hope that they would come in, and she's very good at that as well. So, you know, every little $1,000 here, $100 there helped. I personally donated a lot as well to the film, and then, you know, through your connections as the producer, you can always get in kind certain services, right? I don't like to you know, abuse those relationships or anything like that, but if you can get like some equipment rentals, you know, lighting package, you know, some catering, all that helps. So you have to just get really creative. And then I always tell people, use the brands too. Like if you're writing a script and you know you're gonna have a car, then seamlessly try to write in, you know, that whatever electric, you know, Hyundai or whatever it is into your film, so that you can also approach the brand and show them, look, I'm gonna be giving you, you know, advertising. Would you be interested in you know, in giving us some money for this, you know, or at least get a car out of it, you know, or something. Right. It's kind of like, you know, product placement and all that. So you have to kind of really be very resourceful nowadays too. And there is money out there. You just have to find it, you know. But like I said, a lot of filmmakers do use their own funds. Yeah. And so that's also why it takes. I mean, the short film I did, I used my own money that I've saved up as well in advertising. That was like a little bit under five grand. And then the other feature that Paige Morrow directed, Ending Up, it was actually not a feature, it was a short film. It was a buddy comedy, female buddy comedy. She did everything on a GoFundMe, and she got all of them. And then she did the same thing, like, you know, hey, if you give $100, you'll get to come to the premiere, or if you give 20, you'll get to have like a T-shirt or a baseball cap or something like that. Yeah. And people, believe it or not, like they go for it, you know, because they want to help the arts. They want to help an artist, you know, and see them succeed. So you just got to put it out there and try. You know, the worst that people can say is no. You know?
Yeah, and you already have the no, so go get the C's.
Exactly, CC.
That's very cool.
Sí se puede.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. And Ale, I mean, this started as I mean, it's a student film, but it's very well done. It's the thesis, it's the final, so that's when you put the best. But you've done tons of work, recently you shot this musical video and all those things. Tell us about also how you land your projects.
For me, I think it's a little bit different. First of all, of course, the story. Whenever I got some script that I actually liked, of course, we all need to pay bills, and that's really important. But there is a few moments that I still do that things like, right, if I got a good story and I like the director and I like the team that can collaborate together. I mean, I love shooting. So if it's something that, you know, I have the room, I definitely gonna do it. And for me, finding jobs has been the best thing that happens to me. Is I just go do my job, try to do my best. I enjoy it so much. And I think people, for me, it's like on set kind of thing, right? Like I don't write the story, or I don't, you know, do the previous decisions that the director does. So my job, the huge performance happens on set. And I guess when people, as a DP, I feel like you have to be calm in a way. Like if you're a DP that can control yourself on set, and even though you have half an hour to finish and you still have 5 pages, you know, these kind of things. I've been learning that you have to be calm and try to keep together things, and that's something that directors will like and producers will like. Actors, I think they appreciate it. And the best thing for me is, like, most of the time, I mean, lucky enough that people recommend me. I was so surprised, like the last few things that happens to me, it happens because actors, I never imagined, because when I'm working, I try to, leave that to the director or the AD. I try to be really respectful with actors, but sometimes you have to be close, especially, for example, those shots that we did, like, super close up. I have to be like this close, right? So you have to get there. And I don't know, I get surprised sometimes that actors recommend me or sound designer recommend me. I feel like if you go on set and you are respectful with everyone and respect everyone's time and needs, it's not just about me needing to be the time for light, right? I need to give time to the actors to rehearse. Everyone needs to respect each other, and I feel that's the base. And also,
So you've been getting referrals by the whole cast and crew. I mean,
generally people that know me working and they see me doing things,
They feel
they
comfortable.
start to talk about it, like, yeah, they talk like, yeah, she's good or something, I guess. And also I feel like I always choose things that I believe in. I won't ever say yes to a script that I don't believe, because I think it's unfair for me and it's unfair for the story or the director. So I do things that I believe on, and I always try to keep my values. Like, for me, it's important to work with people that treat well each other. I reject a film in New York. It could be my first feature film, and I say no because they didn't want to take care of the crew properly. They would say like, oh, we will have them waiting in the parking lot in the middle of summer in New York City, like super work. For me, those things matter.
Right.
So I try to work with people that have values, and I mean, that's how I rule my own way to find my jobs and to accept or not accept.
So this is actors slash. I know it's connecting slashers as well, but again, it's actors is proactive actors who create opportunities by not only acting and waiting for the big opportunity to fall from above, but also create opportunities or roles that we're not given, or castings. And do we have any actors here? Okay, cool. Good. 3, but we also are seen by some actors through social media and will be seen. What would be the advice on set for actors? What can, like my mayor thing is being an actor. And yeah, commercials pays my bills, but acting in the screen. What would be the advice that you will give us actors, the 4 of you, not to do? Or how can we help you better to do your job and us not to end up in the cutting room? Like, I did this great scene and then I saw the final cut and I'm not there. And sometimes it's not because of time, maybe it's because I screw up. Sometimes probably it's like they just cut it out because they didn't have enough time. But what can we do, us actors, to improve and help you do your job better and us stay in the final cut? But let's start with you, Ale.
For me, I think, and that is for everyone, but just be prepared. Like, it's really unfair if you show up on set and everyone is ready and then they need to wait for example, I don't know, in actor's case would be, they don't know the lines. So that's unfair because I'm ready, she's ready, everyone is ready, and that delay us, right? And that will sacrifice later on in other areas. Like, someone will not have time enough to do the makeup, or I won't have enough time to do my lighting. So I think you have to be prepared and show up ready to do things, because doing a movie is a team effort. If someone is screwing a little bit, then it doesn't matter the rest of the people, that the boat will sink, you know? So I guess you have to be prepared and be respectful and help each other to make a whole piece of art. That's
Right.
what I would say.
That's a great advice. Nadia, what would you suggest? How can we help?
Well,
the people?
I'm glad you brought that question up, because I actually just had a shoot last weekend, and mind you, these were real people, they weren't professional actors, but still we had a rehearsal call, we had a pre-pro call, and at least 4 calls for them to rehearse and go through the script and whatnot. And so, when you get to the set, and I was also directing this and producing it, and when you have the talent that's not prepared, as Ale was saying, it slows everything down. Like, the 2 cameras that we had, the DPs are kind of like waiting, the light's already ready, everyone's ready to go, and they're still stumbling with their lines, and so it puts a lot of pressure, obviously, on the director and everyone as well, but mainly the director, because, this is, you have to be able to get the performance out of
Right.
your actor. And so even at castings, like, immediately, I will know, like, and with the creative directors as well, who's gonna work and who's not gonna work, and even with child actors too. Because you kind of have to break it down very simply for them. But I would say definitely be prepared. Punctuality is very important. I can't tell you how many times I've had talent show up late. And I'm not just talking about celebrity talent, which they get away with a lot because they're celebrities. But just, actors that come and, they start making demands. And so I say have some humility, be humble, be punctual. Definitely come prepared and ready to run lines with your fellow actors too. If you're waiting around, that's always helpful. And then, just don't make so many demands, because especially when it's a low budget, unless it's a big, huge, $1 million budget, you should really be, mindful of the limitations. And I'm the type of producer that I like to recycle and reuse everything and not waste food and not waste bottles of water. When I started out as a PA, I used to ask, the production manager if I could take the trays of food left over home. Right. And they'd be like, oh, why are you taking it? I was like, well, because the homeless people in my neighborhood. And I would literally put them on top of talk about New York, I put them on top of the trash
on your bottles
cans.
and put your name on
them. And I would come down with my trash and they would already be gone. And so, from the very beginning of my career, I've always tried to, save and reuse and all that. So for me, I think it's very important for actors to be mindful as well of what everything costs and to do their part too in making everything easier. But I definitely say, be open too to whatever role they put forth, because sometimes you come to casting for a particular role and then they end up liking you for something else.
Yeah.
But then I've had actors literally turn down that other role. They're like, their agents will say no, they're not interested. They wanted the lead role. And that's a shame, because sometimes you're discovered in a B role or, a secundario, as they say, in Mexico. So you never know. You got to go for everything and you got to be open.
But I got to tell you something. I've been offered, like, say, a role, and it has happened a lot of times, like that I applied for something, and not to disregard what you're saying, I totally respect it. But as an actor, I have turned down roles that, like, they offered me one, they said, you know what, I think you're better for this, but honestly, if I don't feel like, I'm not gonna do it. And I had turned down roles that, like, I applied for this one, just to give you an example, it was an Italian lady, or she speaks Italian. My look is Mediterranean, my background is Portuguese, Spanish, and I probably even have like Arabic, because the Moros conquered Portugal, Spain ended up in Mexico. So that's my background. And I booked it, I spoke everything Italian, in particular with Italian twice. As soon as what part of Italy you are from? No, I'm not, and I'm better in French, but this was Italian, twice. Voiceover in, what part of Italy you are from? Oh, I'm not from Italy, I'm from Mexico. Something in their mind shakes their whole world. And now my role changed from Giulietta to Julieta. And now they wanted flowers, and they wanted what their mind was, that's Mexican. And one, we were already in set, and I was like, what the heck? And I did it in the end. And it didn't, but it's like almost even the props changed. Everything changed. And in the voiceover, they asked me to, like, oh, you're not from Italy? Oh, we need to, it was speaking English with Italian accent. So something in their chip, in their mind was like, oh, wait, you're not from Italy? And they heard me, and I did it, and I was chit-chatting with another Italian, and this was an American casting director or whatever. That's what happens. So the point is, as soon as they know, it had happened to me, and I'm sorry, I just reject that. I'm like, sorry, I came for this, and this is the only one that I want. I mean, that probably will be the case, but that I have rejected it, or like, I just hate being offered projects that portray Mexico in the wrong way all the time, being the poor. I mean, most of us are Mexicans, and I think we're well educated. We have everything. We have people who doesn't have the same opportunities as we have people who does. So we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have everything. So don't ever approach me with those kind of projects because I'm not gonna take them. So I mean, that's just wanted to tell you in the actor's defense.
Yeah, no. I mean, you have every right to turn something down. I mean, even like with my son, I mean, he's 13 and he's been going to auditions and stuff, and they'll his agent will do like ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because they can't, and he's half Mexican too. His father's from Durango, but like, obviously I'm not going to tell him, no, you can't go and do a role playing a Persian or playing a Mexican or an Indian boy. I say go for it, because at this age, the more he does and the wider his portfolio becomes, the better. But even when he was auditioning for a Spielberg movie and he was supposed to be an Italian boy talking about Italy, I mean, I think that you shouldn't be asking the actor where they're from. I think that's none of their business. But you definitely want to see that they can, do the
Do what they
performance.
want,
Yeah,
right.
and do what but you obviously have the right to turn girls down. I just say when you're starting out, you should be open to as much as you can.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. We're gonna go with public questions in a moment. Let's just finish with Sofía and Alexandra. Please tell us, especially as a director, because sometimes I invite editors and they tell us, well, I had the camera on them and they send the material and the actor never react. They are just like this waiting for their cue line. So we couldn't use that person, or we couldn't use the scene of that actor because it never interact or react. There was never a reaction of what the other actor was saying. What other advices would you give us?
I mean, I think patience. I think we all know that filmmaking is teamwork, and sometimes we plan things, but it happens differently on set. So we have to be patient if the light is not ready. So let's all be patient and give her time, because sometimes I've had situations where everybody's in a good mood and then the actor's like, so I thought that we were doing my scene. Well, we had to change it because or I don't know, one light se fundió and we have to shoot something else. So it's just being patient and staying in a positive attitude is key on set, because at the end of the day, we should all be in the same, telling a story in the same ship and having fun, because this is supposed to be a fun thing.
I agree with that.
This is a great
Patience.
opportunities for us actors. It's amazing.
So
Enjoy it.
patience, definitely. Patience and positive attitude. That's all I would ask.
You would need.
Yeah.
How about you, Alexandra? Because I'm a voiceover talent, and the first thing newbies do in a cabin or in the booth is touching the mic. It's the one thing you never do, but that's voiceover. Please tell us.
Yeah. Well, for location sound, which is the thing I do, as an actor, you have to let the sound mix get off, because a good microphone, I mean, if you're the most professional people I have worked on, they want to feel important. They are the ones that are like, you will mic me like this, and at the end of the day, I have to correct all the mistakes. They take into account the fabric, the movement, the direction they're talking. So if it's hot, if it's cold, things you don't think about. And when I see a guy that I have to mic, I'm thinking, okay, what is he doing? Where is he going to talk to? What are his movements? I have to see blocking. Is it very hot? Is he going to be sweating? Is the props too loud? Those are things I'm thinking. I don't think you as an actor, you're thinking, oh, my suit is too noisy. I don't think you're thinking about that. You're thinking about your lines. So I have come across like one time I came across an actress, and she was old, and I think her dad was famous back in the day, and she felt, I don't know, entitled, and she was like, you will make me like this, and she did, okay, you make yourself here, and she did a horrible job. So, and I said, it sounds horrible, can I fix it? And then then she said, okay, yeah, fix it, and then I did it, and then she trusts me the rest of the shoot. But it's that attitude of just let me do my job because I respect your job, so you respect mine. Not because you're a famous celebrity means my job is less important, because I am the responsible that you sound good.
Right.
And if you sound good, nobody will notice my job. If you sound bad, they will notice my job and they will notice you sound horrible. It's just not worth it.
And you said it when we were talking on the phone. You
Yeah.
said when the sound is bad, people will talk about it. When the sound is good, they rarely talk about it, which is very
Yeah.
unfair.
So the first
When
video,
you see the book.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you see the video in the beginning, it's just pieces of video and they sound good, and you don't pay attention to the sound because they sound okay.
Yeah.
But if it was like for the Jason Momoa one, it was insanely hot. He was sweating all over.
And probably he has hair on
And
his
so
chest.
and he was sweating so much, it was not worth making him with a lavalier. So I just did boom for that. Even though he is so famous and we'd rather have two options, I have to take the because I have experience. I know I have to take the decision how I'm going to mic, which mic I will use, where I will put it, because what is he doing? He was wearing like a very heavy coat, and he was sweating.
He has long hair.
And he has long hair, and he was doing ponytails. If you see the rest of the video, it's just doing like 20 different ponytails. And it's not worth doing a lavalier on him.
The scrunchie.
Yeah, crunchy challenge. And then for what other I show you?
Plus you, as a
Yeah.
sound mixer, you have headphones, right? So if someone goes to the bathroom and doesn't tell you, you're gonna hear how they pee.
No,
No?
because it's like I could lose my job if I let people hear what you're doing in your private
Privately.
time.
So you turn out everything off?
Yeah, but
I was
sometimes
wondering
sometimes the
about that.
actors just don't say anything and run away, and then I notice they are like sneezing or whatever, and then turn it off. But I heard one time one story. I don't know if it was like Robert De Niro, that he asked.
You might, Robert.
No, no, no. He asked the sound mixer, "Do you hear what I asked for lunch?" And the sound mixer answered, "Yeah, you are getting this and this." And they fired the sound mixer because you're not supposed to hear what they're saying in their private time.
So she should say, no, never.
Yeah. Yeah, I just as a sound mixer, just let the sound mixer do their job, and
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Let everybody do their
Yeah.
job and do yours. right?
and be like respectful, because yeah, you might be famous today, but maybe
Yeah.
not tomorrow, and maybe I will keep working and you don't.
Yeah, totally. That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, because that's how it goes. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. Let's
Yeah.
go to the public. Do you guys have any questions for these four amazing films? Okay, no, you, the lady with the glasses. Please get up and tell us what.
Oh, okay.
Sure, so we can hear you in the mic here in the
Sure.
front.
Sofía?
Yeah.
I was wondering, I think I heard you say that you were making a proof of concept.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're trying to develop next?
Yes, I'm gonna shoot a short film called Pecadillo.
Picadillo?
Pecadillo.
Ah, Pecadillo.
Yeah, I know it
It's like
sounds
name
like
of word.
pecadillo, but it's not. Pecadillo like a sin, a small
Okay.
sin. Yeah, so it's gonna be a proof of concept.
Cool.
Yeah.
You already have a script?
I have the script and lookbook, and we have like part of the crew, but we're still finding the rest of the team.
So, Mike, can I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
to that? I'm always curious about how people choose what to focus on when they're making a proof of concept, because you're trying to sell, a larger story. Is it a smaller version of it, or a scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think that proof of concepts, it's like a short script, a short film, but it has legs to go further, you know. So if this is like a coming of age story of an 18-year-old boy that wants to come out, right, to his loved ones, and I think that, you know, it how it ends, it's like you want to see more, you know. You can actually expand it and make the story bigger. So that's kind of like the proof of concept, as opposed to like a short film, like, you know, like the I'm a Vampire. I don't think it could be made into a feature because there's not a lot of room to play with. So yeah, that's kind of like, I wrote the short film first, and then thought that it would be a great feature. So I'm doing it as a proof of concept. Yeah.
That's
I
great.
hope that answered your question.
Anybody else have another question?
I have a question.
Yes, of course.
So you were saying you founded your project with
Crowdfunding.
Are you scared that somebody could steal your idea?
No, because I registered it, and
That's a
great
I
idea.
mean, yes, at first I was like, should I put it out there? And then what happens if like it's out there and I don't get the funding and then somebody steals it? But before I share my ideas, I mean, obviously I didn't share all the idea, you know. I shared
The synopsis.
the bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if somebody else sees that idea, first of all, it's registered, but they're not me, they're not in my mind. So like, you could go direct it, and I know for a fact that it's not going to be the same.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I'm not really scared of that anymore, but I know where you're coming from, because it's scary to like show your work out there and have like somebody else
Yeah.
match it.
So in the end, the way you envision it is going to be totally different. You're not giving that away, so yeah.
But I think that before you share your
I'll be
ideas,
scared too.
even with people that you trust, I would like register it, send it to your email. Don't open the email. Do everything that you can, because you never know if like tomorrow like somebody does the exact same idea and you're like, nope, this is my, you know, this is my idea. I registered it.
Mhm.
So that's how I. Yeah.
That's
And
great
in
advice.
the Women's Guild of America, you
Uh-huh.
can register it on their website.
Yeah.
And I think it's something, I mean, I think it's like $35.
$25.
It's
Yeah.
very affordable.
You're right.
But you're right, you can just do old school, put this
Mail
it
or all
to
of it
yourself.
to you,
Do everything.
and then, you know,
Never open the
never
envelope.
open it. And then always try to have, you know, if you know a lawyer friend, not necessarily entertainment lawyer because they're very expensive, but have some kind of attachment to it, so people are more, you know, cautious if there is a lawyer attached to it already. Yeah.
And if you ever share the script with somebody, add the register number. You know, like it's
So they
register
know.
so they know. I mean,
Mhm.
nowadays people are not. I mean, I haven't heard stories of. Well,
I've heard a lot.
I have
But
a
if-
panelist who did.
Yeah, you're
who
right.
stole
You're right.
someone
I don't
else's.
know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think positive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Do you have-
I don't think you can worry about people stealing your stuff.
yeah.
Also my name is Leon. I'm a filmmaker as well.
Ian, can you get up so we can hear you better?
Hello.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hi.
My name's Leon. I'm a filmmaker. It's really great to see all you the new ladies up here.
Thank you for being here.
The great stuff that you're doing. I didn't really have any questions at this moment. I just was commenting on what y'all were discussing. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we have to wrap it up. Thank you so much. But before we go, where can they find you? I mean, if you go to Actors Slash, all of them are tagged like 500 times. But would you like someone to share maybe your website? We know already what's your next project, kind of, sort of. But if you want to add anything else, Ale, let's begin with you. Where can they find you? What are you up to next?
My website is Ale Rubiera, and there is all the things connection like Instagram, all the social media, and I mean I'm always ready to shoot anything that could be good. I love it, and yeah, anytime you guys have a good story, I'm happy to see it and read and talk about it with you.
Thank you. Nadia?
Mine is nadiafilms.com.
I love that.
And then my last name is pretty memorable. If you can learn how to spell, it's 14 letters long, but I actually brought some caps, so if anyone wants one, I have one for all the ladies up here. But I also thought we could do a game of trivia if we have time. I'll let everyone finish, but
Okay.
I have like a few that I can give out to the audience if they want to do a little trivia game.
Sure. So where can they find you? Nadia?
Nadia
say,
Film.
say it for us.
NadiaFilms.com, and then my social media is all pretty much Nadia Voukitchevitch. So yeah, my
Okay,
tip-
because I tried to find you on Instagram, and it's like Condesa, Nadia.
Baronessa, yeah, well, because I
Baronessa.
found out my great-great-grandmother had the title of Baronessa. I knew there was some nobility in there on my dad's side, so in honor of her, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna hold on to the title.
Yeah, Sofía. Maybe,
I'm
maybe you
just-
have two.
I'm just gonna give you my Instagram, Sophie Lala, SOFILALA, like
But your
lullaby.
website,
I mean, you can go there, and my website is linked there.
some people don't have Instagram, just you
Yeah,
know.
but okay, but some people don't know. Like my last name is really long, so it's hard. So SofiaGarza-Barba.com, but
But how about Espina? Is that
Espina
what-
Blanca. No, I mean I think Sofia Garza-Barba is like
Well,
where-
we'll view to
yeah,
everything. Sofía Garza-Barba,
or Sophie Lala.
or
Yeah.
Sophie Lala.
Mine is just Instagram, Alexandra Parral, together. And then
But it's private, so you have to kind of like flirt her.
yeah, and then just my email is alexandraparralfilms@gmail.com. Yeah.
Perfect. And my name is Vange Tapia. All my everything, my social media, vangetapia.com. My handles are Vange Tapia. Actor/ is actor/.com, and it will merge with connectingslashers.com. Just remember, actors is plural. I feel like truly believe that one person cannot go anywhere, so it has to be actors, like a collaboration. And the consul, thank you so much for the general consul for opening this space for us. It's CCCMLA.com. So thank you so much. Let's do 2 questions trivia, and we
Yeah.
have pictures because.
So, I mean, I think they're easy ones, but, so does anyone know who the first woman director who won, Best Director, Oscar for Best Director?
I know the movie, and I forgot her name.
Yes, Catherine
Catherine.
Bigelow, okay, good job.
You got it. Yeah. We'll give it to her in a moment.
And,
You have the other one?
the other one is who was the first woman who won
you.
Best Screenplay, original screenplay?
Who wrote the first original screenplay?
Yes, first original screenplay. I didn't know this one, I had to look it up.
I have no idea. I'm
So
sorry.
who was the first woman who wrote, who won
Best, yeah,
Best
that's original
original
screenplay.
screenplay?
Anyone know?
Was it Jane Campion? No.
No, Muriel Box. But anyway, I have another one. If you can name 3 women of color who are directors.
But wait, women in color, I have to jump in this one, because there's that misconception. We have a lot of Mexicans here that are not of color.
Right.
And
Well,
so why-
women directors.
So,
Period. Yeah.
women
If you can
directors.
name 3 women directors, then you get a nice cap.
Women directors,
There's
you just said one.
Jane Campion. Yeah.
Campion, Ava DuVernay, and
Chloe Zhang.
Nancy Lyons.
Yeah. Okay.
Ava
Great.
DuVernay.
Hold on,
Perfect.
We need
Cevita.
two
Here,
caps.
they each get one. Yeah. absolutely.